Sridhar has close to 2.5 decades of experience in the area of BFSI, healthcare, retail, IT, BSU, utilities, telecom, retail, real estate, education, trade, finance, travel and hospitality area. He's expertised in outsourcing, insourcing, business strategy, business planning, and opportunities identification of professionals, and then new business development and growth, business process excellence and COE, strategic partnership, and high value analysis. In fact, Sridhar is one person that I've witnessed. I've been talking to a lot of thought leaders in the WFM area. He knows most of the products which are exist in the global market. So I mean, name any product that he knows that this serves for so and so feature, and they're based out of so and so, and they're competitor of so and so. I mean, it's really good to have insightful discussion with Sridhar anytime that I have discussion with him. So what Sridhar is known for is business and thought leadership, WFM and RPM workflow, and workload optimization, risk management, financial forecasting, financial and customer support, people management, executive advisory and decision support, improvement planning, supply chain management, trading needs analysis, and identification. So great to have you, Sridhar, again. I'm sure that WFM Analytics is going to give very good enablement with this keynote of yours. With this, over to you. Looking forward to having a great session.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Thanks for that again. And if you could make me the presenter, I'd like to go ahead and share the PPT before we start. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. While Shiva makes me the presenter, he's still trying. And we are good.
Yes.
So Shiva, we are good. You can see the screen, right?
Absolutely.
Great. So analytics. So we've been having a session. We've been talking since morning. Deepak did a good job of keeping everybody awake as he intended to. I'm going to be deviating slightly away from whatever we've been speaking. There's been a lot of COVID talk. There's been a lot of people talk, and I think it's more to do with, for me, WFM is mathematics. Ashwini mentioned that in the morning. I didn't come from orthodox regular WFM. How did I get there, and why is it so close to me, and what does it really mean? I hope to share my views. I hope I open up some thought processes for you, and maybe look at more stuff. Traffic lights. Why traffic lights? The reason I do WFM is traffic lights. I used to be making business plans for private label credit cards on risk delinquency profiles to be able to market prime, subprime targets when my boss, this is way back in GE Capital in the US, sitting outside Parsippany in New York, he said, we have adopted a city. We need to do traffic management. You are an analytics person. Can you go out and design the traffic lights for that city? This was way back in 1996, 97 rather. City is called Kettering, Ohio. Me and one more gentleman, Scott Martin, we ended up studying that thing. It was traffic management. We designed the entire hardware, software, algorithms. And to share with you, that is how I got into WFM, because those lights still run. The same algorithms are still running. Those models are still effective. And post that, I was completely moved into planning and analysis. So for me, WFM is actually just analysis. We understand it as what we see, from a standard of saying right people, right skills at the right time, right cost, right plan, on the right tools. It all follows the same model of forecast, sizing, model, simulations, intraday performance, shift scheduling. To the extent that I, I would say that, people who've known me know that I'm not a believer in real-time monitoring. I stopped doing real-time monitoring about 6 months, in 2006. Literally stopped it. No, none of my operations used to have real-time monitoring because I used to depend on analytics. What is the game? What is the whole show? Why am I so passionate about that whole analytics bit? The reason being, WFM is not just contact centers. I've not done WFM just for contact centers. I set up the workforce for Hero Honda Motor plant out of Manesar. There is a lot of other stuff that we do. If we look at it, what is there in the workforce space? On the left, you see CloudMoyo. It is a railroad roadways WFM software. Jefferson. We've used it for purely airline scheduling. Hastas Gyro, transportation services. We use it for transportation services. Genesis Nice IEX you're aware of. Trapeze is a supply chain and transportation solution. Infor is a people solution. Variant, again, we are aware of it. Clarabridge is there. It doesn't have a WFM. It doesn't have the regular WFM part of it, but it does WFM, and I'll share a little later why. Repsly is a in-field, on-field solution that we use. I'm sure you're aware of Workday and Epicor. Calabrio, which recently bought Teleopti, has become a formidable WFM team globally. They have a sizable chunk now. NextThink is something that we deploy in a lot of environments, especially in service desk environments. Delmia we use for airline optimization. There is another company called Copenhagen Optimization, which we use a lot. Injixu is a frontline. It's one of the cheapest WFM tools, which does a pretty good job. Anaplan, we use it for enterprise planning, and that's WFM for us. I mean, Aspect you heard of. Right is actually the BI tools. There's no dearth. It's a dearth of tools available. However, to keep it simple, we move on. What do we really do? This is nothing but the business process maturity model. Why is analytics required? In order to do analytics, we capture data, we plan and deliver, we prepare the visualizations, we perform analytics, use it to manage performance, to get to a continuously improving step, which basically is the 5 steps of initial, managed, standardized, measured, and optimizing. Relating it back to where we are, to restricting it slightly to where we are. I don't want to talk about the other areas that we work on. What is WFM for us? Where is it? It's no more WFM, it's WEM for us. We do forecasting, we do resource planning, scheduling. This is a given. It's a given. Has anything changed because of COVID? Nothing's really changed. It is BAU. Optimization, it has become more important for us. There's a lot of desktop process analytics. There's a lot of speech text analytics that's gone higher. We moved to 100% quality monitoring. Yes, quality monitoring is a part of the functions that I've always driven. I've owned it. Interaction recording, and of course, which helps us do the routing. The routing is what we talk about, saying whether we're deflecting it, how do we enrich the customer, whether we are deflecting volume to a particular workload. And of course, it moves on to the last stage, which also takes into account stuff like voice of the employee, voice of the, hey, is the screen there? Yeah, it's there. And it takes into account, metrics and recognition. Now, why does this, how does this tie back? Whatever we do in WFM is actually core WFM and the DDS models that we build on top of it. Why do I say DDS? The reason I say DDS is data sciences, data analytics and decision sciences. Most of my WFM folks have gone on to become data scientists. I think that's the roadmap for journey for most WFM folks to follow. Just a sec, guys. Okay. So examples of analytics, how are we leveraging analytics? There is an airline in the US that we supported, we worked on, we helped. They don't do forecasting using ACT data. It's a 2,000 people center. We use only speech analytics data to forecast volumes. For every queue, we actually forecast workload. We don't forecast volumes. And in the end, it's about forecasting performance. There is another Australian company that we help with, wherein we use Nexidia to do skill plan to deliver next best action. We don't have the bandwidth in that or budgets to really keep training. So what we say is we use what the people have and keep driving that skill plan. We use WFM analytics by the way, COVID brought about a situation where we said, how do we manage breaks and offline time? About 3 years back, rather 4 years back, 2016, 15, 16, we moved about 5,000 people onto workforce planning where there is no fixed break or offline time. Employee has the flexibility to take when they want. And this is done through analytics driven on WFM data available. Shrinkage forecast to the level that it's at a MAPE of about 8. So you don't really care. People can take a break when they want. And that is analytics. I have a utility company which doesn't do its forecast anymore from, it is based on a blockchain model. And it uses that blockchain model to give it a trigger of saying which customer is going to call. And how do I ensure that the person doesn't call or reach out, or how do I do a proactive outreach? That is where we've reached in terms of analytics. Now, I want to dwell a little bit on the just a sec, on the DDS model that we were speaking about. Why DDS? It helps me do advanced demand forecast. It helps me do the scheduling right. This is what helped us do all those models. Now, we did answer this question at some other stage for somebody saying that it's got to be customized to each business. Once built out, what happens is that model can run efficiently for as long as one needs, to the extent that you use data analytics for multiple channel demand forecasting, better robust driver analysis. In the end, what are we trying to drive? What does WFM really drive today? I mean, and what do we look for? We end up driving something called as XLA, which is called experience level assurance. It is an outcome. It doesn't matter whether it's going to be answered on a phone, it's going to be answered on a chat or email. What was the customer experience? Across the globe, organizations are moving, demanding, and delivering experience. They are not demanding a service level. They are not delivering a abandon rate. They're not delivering a turnaround, whether it's front office or back office. It is moving down to XLA. So now how is this really working? The reason being, I'm keeping this crisp and clean. I just want to leave the thoughts. I'm happy to answer this question. WFM actually is responsible for a employee SAT, a CSAT, NPS success rate. It's how much you can drive it, own it. Optimized occupancy. What is the right occupancy? Do I really want to drive my people at 80%? Depends on businesses. Some businesses, I don't want to run it beyond 55 because the quality of my work starts dropping the moment I increase that occupancy to 60. So where is that balance between what is the stress level I can drive the energy of a person to, and where do I run it? So that's optimized occupancy. It's never going to be maximum occupancy. Better resource utilization. We drive it. Analytics drives lower shrinkage by forecasting accurately. It's an ever-changing platform. There are multiple touch points that are sitting out there. It's about how that's getting integrated. BCP DRP is how well we build those models out. We can have very efficient BCP DRP, very cost efficient, and so on and so forth. Even the basic stuff of eliminating manual inputs, it's a kind of analytical automation. I don't know if that gives you a feeler. I don't want to go through a very busy slide, but I want to bring it down to what Gartner says. We have these tools available. We use them. The tools on the left are the WFM regular tools that we really use from a contact center standpoint. It doesn't take into account the Hastas, Gyros, and the Copenhagen optimizations of the world. There are different specific tools. And on the right, you have the BI tools. The BI tools are, you're aware, I'm sure all of you are dabbling with it. All of you have so much experience You must be playing around with it, building out models that are there. And that's about what I really have on analytics. I don't really want to dwell too much. I would rather have an open forum and discuss on this if that's okay. Shiva, all yours.
Thanks, Sridhar.
Shiva, questions, repetition, or anything people want to?
Hi, Shiva, Lalit here. Can I?
Yeah. Please go ahead. Yes.
So, Sridhar, all I would say that can we have all of this once more? This is so much. I'm sorry, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. I apologize if I went too fast. I'm going to go slow on this. Shiva, just pass that whole thing back, man. Presentation.
No. That's not what I mean to say. What I mean to say that this is truly overwhelming and actually next level of workforce. I mean, if all of this what you said, directly from right from driving the XLA and moving away from the traditional real-time management, if all of this is a reality, then this is something that I would like to, and I'm sure we would all like to learn that how to make it possible in all across the organization. So that's where I would like to say that can we have this session even much more detailing and once more on how to do it actually. So
okay,
it's really amazing.
Lalit, I hear you, and I might have somebody from my teams. I don't know if Pinaki is there or if Rajdeep's not there, but I'm sure maybe Anshul's there. Some people might be there, but you can ask people who work with me, and I'm a huge detractor of real-time management. I don't believe in real-time management. I've not done it since 2006. We set up operations. It takes a maximum of 12 weeks to get to a stage where real-time intervention is pretty much removed, whether through technology, whether through people behavior management, whether through the right analytics being driven. All of us follow the same routine. We follow the quarterly monthly planning pack, we follow the monthly planning pack, we follow the weekly optimization, we follow the daily wrap, review action plan or day of ops, whatever we want to call. What is comprising of it and how do we manage our workforce? I'm with you. It's the same model. It's just the rigor around it. It's just the way you do it and using the tools that are available. I mean, why do I want to do forecasting with ACD data when it doesn't give me a lot of intelligence? I'm pushing hard across every organization I come across. I've achieved about 20% penetration in most organizations where they have stopped using ACD data. We're using purely speech analytics data. Of course, we deploy the tool, we configure it for them, and we say this is what is the volume going to look like. It's about, and in the end, it's about forecasting performance. So the start point always is going to be what are my data inputs? How am I modeling those data inputs? And I don't come from contact centers, guys. I mean, my background is completely mathematics, yield management. That is where I came from. I did traffic lights, I did factories, I've done airports, I've done railroad. Rail is a much more interesting WFM piece that we do. It actually is the same logic. I mean, it is the same logic. It is the same fundamental. Real time, in particular, I would say is about how you leverage what you have. I believe the employee is the customer, the primary customer. COVID or no COVID, nothing has changed in the things that we do, interestingly, because of the way we work. We still do the same thing because that is what we used to do before. I don't know how to explain it further, but I'm happy to have talk to you one-on-one and address a particular problem if you want me to look at.
No, I think there is. I would not say that there is a particular problem. I think I would say this is a completely new engine or the new shift I have seen, which is coming from your knowledge and experience. So to answer your question that how to explain, I think that each slide for me would be somewhat like 3 to 4 hours of session with you to learn it on how to actually deliver. So, I mean, I would like to say thank you to you to, give us this new insight. And I would like to reflect back on it. Even if I was able to do up maybe 25 to 30% of, I think that would somehow be called as an achievement. So thank you so much for, sharing such a deep knowledge actually about it.
And Lalit, please feel free to ask. I'm happy to shares without any motive, and I'll tell you why. Because that is the only way it grows. I'm happy to help without any expectation, always, and that's the way I have operated. And Shiva knows that. Everybody knows that who knows me.
I will definitely. I will.
Okay,
Sounds
thanks,
good.
Lalit.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Lalit. We have a question from Suresh. Suresh, you can go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, thanks, Shiva. Hi, Sridhar. I'm Suresh PVR. Thank you so much for, as Lalit mentioned, there are a lot of insights in the slides what you have presented. I'm personally being a very data analytics passionate guy. I try to introduce analytics in WFM in my organization at some times because it also matters that they're ready to take those data analytics perception. It also matters for the organization. So there are a lot of being the volume of the organization where you are in. Obviously, you are doing very deep analytics or very varied areas. But what is your suggestion for a young organization in data analytics using in WFM practice? Where could be that start point to have the trigger point to the organization to move forward in this area?
So could you re-articulate that question so that we're calibrated? I'm really sorry.
Sure.
I'm something. So help me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sridhar, if my question, I will rephrase it. Basically, what is your suggestion for a WFM practice or a head of WFM working in a young organization where data analytics is not a regular practice used in WFM practices? Where could be that starting trigger point where somebody can start and eventually introduce that organization toward data analytics?
Okay, I understood it now. First step. Uh, uh, there's nothing. So whatever organization it is, whichever WFM professional, they need to be able to bring in the right tool. Data analytics is only after the tool is there. Uh, Doing things on Excel is a waste. It is just a hit and trial. It is just getting lucky with stuff. Excel is something that people love because they can manipulate with it. Uh, First point is, if you're in an organization, you need WFM, see what tool needs to be deployed. Start organizing that data in the way so that traditional data listing is complete. There is that they get into the moment they start getting into large sets is where you move out of the core WFM system. Primary stage, you have to have a WFM system, get a business case, deliver the profit. So a WFM system will pay for itself if rightly done within 9 months to 15 months at max. Most places, WFM systems tools fail because they have not been deployed right, or the change management did not get done right. First, so do you already have a tool at play in the organization that you're talking about?
To be frank enough, Sridhar, no, we are brainstorming on that to get a tool and discussions.
I'm not the ultimate authority. Okay, there may be better brains thinking out there and will give you a better view or something. But my personal view, I've always gone from tools. My key thing has been that I know so many tools that I know which tool and how it runs. Nice WFM is IEX. I was part of a team that developed Audit Trail way back in '99. We did it for HSBC. I was not part of IEX. I was just an external consultant. So coming from their aspect, I used to run it when it was called TCS, telecalling systems. The tools are there. If I look at specifically to contact centers, now there is a tool called Jeppesen, which is a Boeing tool. There's Delmia Quintech. These are airline specific tools. There is no way those tools, anybody can go and replace it with an Excel worksheet. The reason being they've reached that level of maturity. They cannot have that error rate. Now, if you look at a contact center or a deliveries, not just a contact center, any business process services center, if you start looking at it with that kind of a micro detail with the right tool, the level you can easily commit to a 5 to 8% reduction in cost every year. And that's what keeps us going, right? If I can keep delivering that, which organization will not value us as a WFM professional? Minimum 5 to 8% is what we have to keep delivering year on year. So tool first, organize the data first. Once you get to the next stage, start building the DDS models out, start building out the customized models, which will automatically change to whatever the scenario may be, whether it's COVID, no COVID. Your models, once they get built for customized to an organization, they will last for eternity.
Thank you, Sridhar. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. We can take one more question, last question. If there are any, I'm just looking at it, Sridhar.
No problem.
Hi, Sridhar, Ashwini this side.
Hi, Ashwini. Hello, brother.
Hi. So just one question. What's your strategy around balancing cost versus experience during seasonality for any business which you cater to? Probably an e-com, wherein the requirement varies 3x versus the BAU month.
Look, arbitrage is not the way. We know that. Staffing up is not the way. We know that. The only way to go down is what technology can I end up deploying. So it's for a particular business. This is for a catalog business that's sitting out there. Okay.
Yeah.
They have about just the chicken business goes to about 20 times at that time, or the turkey business, Christmas. Okay.
Okay.
Right. What they were doing was that, so that catalog business used to kill itself with its own mailing strategy. So the way we attacked it, and we managed to do it about 2 years back, it took us 3 years to fight with them, saying that, let me control your mailing strategy, let me control your servicing strategy, let me control your consignment delivery strategy, let me control your supply chain.
Okay.
Right? We broke the mailing out so that we don't get hit with the workload. We deferred it to self-service because now we know who we are targeting.
Right.
People who are coming, we know are coming for a particular query. There were different kind of callback assists and IVRs and everything coming into play.
Right.
We ended up deploying voice bots for queries that we knew can be answered by a voice bot.
Right.
We ended up using GeoFluent to convert chats, because what was happening was the language thing used to on top of us kill us, especially in the, even if sometimes even Spanish cannot get serviced kind of for the kind of volume that used to come in. We said move it to GeoFluent. We also, for another business which is seasonal, I mean, I'll tell you, so there was catalog for a service desk business. Come Thanksgiving, post Thanksgiving, my password reset used to go to bloody about 5 times.
Right.
So what did we do? So we got the organization to go out and deploy a little widget on top of their initial logon screen.
Okay, great.
Because I have to eliminate the demand, right? My
Understood.
basic theme of saying this was, how do I reduce the demand? WFM has to play a role there in how do I eliminate the demand. It is a thankless job, as somebody has also mentioned, but the level of satisfaction you get once you're able to achieve success, trust me, I don't think there's a bigger cake you get, man.
Phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely.
Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. It's phenomenal. I mean, your response is apt.
Thanks, Ashwini. So we have last question, but there's one person by name Sushil is asking. Sushil,
Yes.
go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, Sridhar. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Thanks. Okay, so my question is not related to technology. I want to simply ask, in your years of experience, how many times you have faced a situation which cannot be correlated from the past, and from the forecasting perspective, what is your guidance the forecaster should do in such case, especially when the person is going to face the client? So for instance, in this COVID-19 situation, what the forecasting guys should do when they face client?
Focus are multiple types. People, we use ARIMA, which everybody feels is the best. It's a Box and Jenkins model. However, there are other models. There's probabilistic modeling, right? Then there is seasonal naive forecasting. Then there is, so if you look at it, there is no dirt to forecasting models. I would look at.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Sridhar, sorry to interrupt. Actually, not about the models of forecasting. In these times, accuracy goes for a toss. That is the concern. So in that case, no matter however effectively you apply methodology, because the situations cannot be correlated from any such in the past, so we don't have any such concrete thing that this percent proportion we should, embed
Agreed.
to make the.
Agreed. I am totally with you. You can't really build a causal or econometric model on everything, right? You cannot really build a probabilistic model on everything. Here is where we leverage what we can of saying, doing what we best can to gather enough adequate data points to start building one. I need 8 data points, right? If I look at a correlation S, I need at least 8 data points coming in. Till that time, what do I need to deploy from a technology standpoint? I would be happy to answer a specific problem because that may help give you the right comfort or confidence. Maybe I am on it, maybe I don't know how to do it. I will just peg away on saying, how do we go out and approach this? But it's going to be 3 things always. It is going to be people, process, technology. All 3 has to be work together. It's got to be unified planning. It cannot be separate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, I'm sure you'll hit a model which will say, okay, this is the people, this is the process, this is the technology. How do I blend it to service my volume? Look, we are called planning architects. Most of the guys reach a planning architect stage. They can architect a model, and that's what we thrive to become, right? We keep trying to increase our architecture capability on planning. And it is never about forecasting a volume. Now, second point, what are you trying to forecast? Maybe you're trying to forecast something that is not forecastable. Why don't you look at maybe forecasting the outcome? What is the outcome you want? We will plan for that. Let's not try to forecast a volume. You get my point?
I'm getting the point, but my concern is only of the forecasting volume, that how do we moderate or how do we make the change in that?
Don't look at the volume. No? What is the business outcome you want? Sorry, Sushil. Sorry. No, I was saying don't look at the model. Don't look at the volume. Look at the business outcome and see how that can be achieved. If we do that, the business operation doesn't have a problem. They say, okay, fine, my problem is solved. Customer will never have a problem. Operation people running that business will not have a problem saying my business problem is solved.
But then how will you, calculate the demand if you are only looking at the objective of that kind of thing?
Okay. What is the scenario? Are you looking at a customer service environment, or a collections environment, or a services environment, or a sales environment? What are you looking at?
But that is a telecom industry. We do forecasting.
Telecom. So telco has gone through. So telco, I'll tell you what's happening globally. I can tell you interesting stuff that's happening. Universal agents, desktop consolidations. They are the ones that have saved some of it right now. We've gone out, created interesting, not just us, every industry, we're staying in touch with other guys, old friends. What are they doing? They've gone out and changed the way they operate. They don't operate to the same model of saying, I'm going to service a voice call with this voice team. They have created teams which are cross-functional now.
Agree.
And that volume is saying, I will manage the outcome. Customer will get serviced by the same guy for the different channels. A universal agent. So even if it fluctuates, look, my demand, I have a subscriber base. eventually the demand is going to be the same. The demand forecast cannot change, right? It is how it is coming in.
Okay.
So in order to balance that, you do a merger of operational delivery. Try that.
Okay.
I'm happy to help if you need, man. Anytime.
Thanks, Sridhar.
Thanks, Sridhar. Thank you so much for your help. And if there are any questions further, we'll take it offline and I'll share you those questions. Probably we could answer them. Thank you so much
Yes.
for having us. Again, it's really a very enlightening session on the analytics front.
Pleasure, always there.
Thank you. Thanks, Sridhar.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you so much, sir.
Extremely obligated, grateful for all the knowledge that you gave us.
There is so much to do. We'll get there.
And also agreeing to support people, it's a phenomenal thing. You have a lion's heart, you have a big heart. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sridhar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.